I guess the biggest problem with it is that it seems to consider the internet to be a national asset of the United States. And it doesn't seem to understand that if the United States were to destroy or cripple part of the internet as a national security response, they'd be potentially damaging the internet for everybody across the whole globe. Cutting off their nose to spite their face is one thing, but cutting off the whole globe's nose to spite an imagined threat's face is a different thing again. It's difficult to conceive of a circumstance where shutting down the internet in the US could protect against a circumstance like that. And then if it was possible to conceive of a circumstance where shutting down the internet in the US would protect the US from something, there would have to be a better way of approaching that. If anybody ever enacts some sort of cybersecurity threat online, it's always very, very traceable. This is something that would have to be able to be approached to a traditional law enforcement response, even if we could come up with something that could possibly be helped by shutting down an entire section of the internet. The idea of a cyber 9/11 is pure fantasy. We've seen the emergence of the internet's popularity over the past decade or so really, really frighten legislators in a lot of areas, really, really frighten regulators. The idea of talking about worst-case scenarios where mass harm could be done to the population of any country over the internet is just so far away from the reality of how we understand the internet to operate and how we understand people to operate. Seeing these types of legislative responses come out is entirely unhelpful. We need to go right back to the drawing board and have a look at what really is a threat to people in this day and age and how to deal with it appropriately. In the US, they're treating it as a national security and a homeland security problem. And in Australia, we're treating it as a media regulation problem. It'd be a great idea if governments around the world just sat down, stopped viewing the internet as a problem, and had a rational approach to the benefits that it can give people.